It's Monday. It seemed like it's quite autumnal today. I'm feeling the weather's changed a bit. It's the 18th of September, 2023. And of course, the markets behave when it comes into winter a little bit. You're right, John. Cutting it fine there. Coming on last minute, last second. You're
Busy
right,
morning. Busy morning.
Yeah, lots of stuff. It is sort of earnings season a bit. By all means, if you're watching this for the first time, hit that subscribe button and like and share if you do like and share. If you like it, of course. If you don't say anything. But comment. And do you know what, John? I was watching some headlines out today, right? And from two different sort of sectors of the market. The Guardian were already down on the house price numbers or Rightmove sort of results coming out. And then Reuters are quite up. And I'm thinking there's some good signs here. And they've come out with the Rightmove, of course, the biggest sort of portal around there. But they say activity is starting to pick up after a subdued August.
Well, generally happens in autumn. You generally start to get a bit more activity. The summer is always a dead zone for the property sector.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, we've been told that as well by property say they don't bother putting the house on until September, they say. But so they said the market, new properties coming to the market up 12%. It said plenty of sales happening at the right price. And they're also seeing the number of, this is important, this bit, the number of fall throughs decline as market conditions and mortgage rates stabilize. Now, this is quite interesting. Mortgage lenders have recently been cutting their fixed rate deals on hopes that UK interest rates may be close to their peak. Of course, we'll see that this week. We'll get some more information from the governor, Bailey. Last week. Go on.
I think I saw a deal below 5% for the first time in a while.
Yeah. That's it. Well, it says that last week, the Mortgage Works, a division of Nationwide, launched a 5-year fixed rate deal at 4.99%, a sign that a mortgage rate war was well underway. So that's good news. There's a bit of a rate war going on, of course.
Yeah. Well, this is one of the reasons, going back to what we were talking about last week, why I'd be nervous at the banks, because they're going to have to pass on at higher rates, and they're also going to have to fight each other for mortgage business. So, I think they're going to get squeezed. They had a good couple of years, on the profit front, but I think they're going to get a bit squeezed in the year ahead. Yeah. Let's share the screen with you. So the indices is pairing out here. Everything's down today. It does feel a little bit bearish, but I think we had a nice sort of bounce on Friday, and I do think we are sort of round about the bottom. Someone said to me on Twitter, "Don't you dare hint to your followers that market bottom is in." I thought, how dare you tell me what to say? I said, I'm not hinting. I believe we are. I mean, if you are a longer term investor, there are plenty of companies being hammered that I think could do well, very well over the next 2-3 years easily. I mean, there'll be multiples where we are right now. And I do think Bailey's already signaled we are near the top. And so that's a good sign. Where's the market going to look ahead? They always look ahead. And so anyway, FTSE is down. In fact, the AIM all share is performing the best, even though it's in negative territory, down, minus 0.14% there. But at least it's performing better than the others. And it's not off the bottom. I mean, look at that. I do think there's a nice higher low here. That's a breakup of the 50-year moving average. If it does that, that's the AIM all share index. I think it's a good sign. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Are you in the property market, John? Are you a homeowner? Are you a renter? What do you do?
I'm renting at the moment.
Okay.
We won't go into that.
Yeah. No. Okay. Let's check out first a couple of comments from last week. AI Investor said, "I feel we are nearing the bottom of this pit of despair." And it has been a pit of despair. It really has been a great time for me to grab further bargains. Do you want to search? Rich P pointed out, actually, on Saturday, it was St. Leger's Day, wasn't it? So, the old saying, go away in May, sell, come back St. Leger's Day. So it does date back to when the old city traders and investors used to take summer off and just go to the races and go to their houses abroad somewhere and then come back in September. So maybe we will see a bit of liquidity. Plus, of course, we've got CPI data this week, all that stuff. But let's check out the front page of Vox here.
We're also getting a lot of news, which, obviously, helps to stimulate a bit of activity.
Yeah. Okay, bit of news here. Directa Plus, we've covered them before. Remind us what they do, John.
It's graphene. Okay. You remember I was unable to pronounce their main product, which is graphene absorber or something like that. It's basically, a company that's finding multiple applications for graphene. The last time we spoke about it, it had signed a deal with a very large Romanian steel producer to help it essentially reduce sort of wastage and allow recovery of certain byproducts of that process. This is a military deal today. Really quite interesting. I like the look of this company. I'm just looking at its forecast. So it's going to do. So last year it did 10.9 million top line, 5.3 million loss on a pre-tax basis. This year it's going to do 13 and a bit of the top line, pre-tax profit loss rather just over 3, and then we're getting some real acceleration there of momentum at the top line and at the bottom line. So quite substantial profits expected to come through in 2025.
Okay.
It's a military deal. It's a strategic partnership with an advisory firm in the US, a military advisory firm, which works with the government to work out how it can apply this technology across the defence sector. And one thing I didn't know about this company, that General Wesley K. Clark, and if this is the Wesley Clark I think it is, he's a serious guy, was out in Kosovo and the Balkans during that horrendous conflict. Is on the board of Directa Plus. So
Lieutenant General John Colwell as well, head of aerospace at Space. Yes, okay. So all right, yeah, so well connected then.
Yeah, well connected. So, we know that the US is a very, very large spender on defense, and this technology, graphene, it was this great hope technology. We know there's been some companies out there that haven't really delivered on that promise, but Directa Plus is one that is. And finding defense applications, having this strategic partnership, and having these heavy hitters on the board should really help it go after that. So this is big stuff. This company looks like one to follow.
Yeah, well, do you know what? It's been hammered, the chart. They're not looking good there, but hopefully it'll turn around a little bit. We have a pop above the 50-day moving average here, but it hasn't quite got above it. But maybe worth a watch. But graphene, we know, like I said, all kinds of new technologies take a long time to commercialize, don't they? And I said, if you look at a classic was Versarien. When I did invest in Versarien back in the day, it did 10 bags. Look at that. That was the hope and hype of Versarien, of the graphene. Then, of course, when the tires hit the tarmac and they have to sort of start producing some revenue, then they failed at that a little bit, and it came all the way back down. It went from 12 pence to 196. Yeah, so a heck of a run. But now they've founder and CEO stepped down. They're sort of reorganizing the business to focus on stuff that can generate revenue quickly. But they've hit a lot. That's the trouble with new tech, isn't it? You can get
this happens so often.
Hype cycle. If you get into the hype cycle early, you can make a lot of money, but then you got to take your profits and wait. Then this
happens time and time again. Yeah. And I think what you then see, which is what we're seeing with Directa Plus, is because everyone's piled into the sector when it was very exciting new technology. When it sort of doesn't materialize as quickly as everyone thinks it might or hoped it might, everyone piles out again, and you get the really good companies that are sold off with some that are perhaps not so good. Naming no names, Versarien.
Yeah.
So Directa Plus is it's definitely on my radar. I mean, it's as I say, pre-profit, which is I'm not always usually a fan of pre-profit companies, but you can see the path to profit, and some really sort of serious applications for its technology here.
Yeah. So Michael says Bango. I haven't looked at the interims. He said any news on the interims here? So Bango. So Bango.
I haven't looked at them. We'll have to come back to them.
Online payments, let's have a quick look at the interim, see top line, see what they're looking like. So revenue up 88% to 20 million. Hang on a sec, but is this right? Market cap, they're 134. So they are quite highly valued then, aren't they? Really? Adjusted EBITDA, they're making a loss. Cash of 13 million. But if you double that, 40 million, they're still like 3 times sales. Well, I suppose if they're I don't know. What's your thoughts? You're obviously over them a bit more than us. Michael, what's your thoughts on the Bango results? Because the chart's a bit messy, but it is holding its own a little bit. There's bounced off today. It's okay, but haven't really looked into them. I know Bango for a long time. People regard them. They were hyped for quite a while, weren't they? Bango years back. They were saying this is the stock to be in. But judging by that chart, they've gotten down pretty much. And not
payments. Really. Payments is massive. It's this area where there's been huge amounts of innovation. Obviously, it began with PayPal many years ago. Elon Musk and PayPal. but since then you've got a lot of companies fighting for the same space. So yeah, there is a lot of markets to go after. I mean, Bango's very strong in the Far East, because a lot of people just operator-based payments. It was, if I remember, but it's always changing. It's so fast changing. I can barely keep up with it.
I remember reading about Bango first of all in the Investors Chronicle, John, when you were
Simon used to like it.
Yeah. Well, this is a weekly chart. They IPO'd in 2005, pretty much. Not far off this level, so they haven't made a lot of ground. There's been some volatility there you could take advantage of, but it's a bit of a messy chart there up and down. So, Michael, let us know what you think of Bango. And in fact, talking about PayPal, I know Paul Hill invested in PayPal a while back, and they have not had a good time of late. And if you look at them, look at that.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of surprising. It's just been innovated out of the market. So you've got really strong competitors out there, like Stripe, for example.
Yeah, that is a good platform. Guys, don't they? Yeah,
really good platform.
Yeah,
really good platform.
One of those read today as well is Hemogenyx. We covered them recently doing CAR-T, but they got an investor, haven't they, on board?
Yeah. This is. I was trying to find out a bit about.
I didn't invest a lot, did they?
But it was a very, very significant premium. A company called Prevail Partners, which I need to go away and find a little bit more about it. But they've invested at a 240% premium to the closing price on Thursday. Only $830,000, but it also allows something called Prevail InfoWorks to work as a contract research organisation for Hemogenyx. So yeah, it's slightly confusing, but Hemogenyx is a very interesting company, very interesting technology. Works on sort of blood diseases and like blood cancers, like leukemia, for example. And it's using CAR T cells, and this is one of those areas where a solution's really needed because it's a very, very widespread illness, but the treatments are not as effective as they could be. So bone marrow transplant, basically, a lot of which are rejected. So much needed technology if you can get it right. So nice bit of investment there at a massive premium as well.
Yeah, it's a very still quite early stage, aren't they? So they haven't got into clinical trials yet, have they? So I think they got FDA approval.
Well, this supports that basically.
Yeah, did they get FDA approval for their plan I think for their clinical plan?
It was a move ahead, wasn't it?
Yeah, clinical plan accepted by FDA. That's it. There we go. Okay. For the thing, so early stage, but it's a huge market, cancer. It's one of the biggest killers in the world. If you can sort of find a solution in reducing that, then it's going to be a massive, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Futura Medical. I don't know much about.
We spoke about it before. Fantastic.
Yeah. Is the share price firming up a bit? Yeah.
I haven't looked at the share price, to be honest, but
is it FUM?
I'm not going to. I think I should stop speaking when it comes to this one. I mean, again, it's the main interest in this news was what it's doing with Haleon. If you remember rightly, Haleon was spun out of GSK. Yeah. So, very, very significant over-the-counter consumer goods, over-the-counter medicines company. I mean, it's and there's lots of activity going on in lots of different markets. I mean, it's working.
Okay.
I don't know if it's working, but
yeah. Well, let's hope the share price rises a couple of inches. Michael says one to watch is Bango. Gregory says it's too easy for scammers to take advantage of PayPal. I won't use it anymore. I've had no issues with PayPal. Have you had any issues with PayPal? I mean, you
not for a while.
Dodgy emails with links in them, but never click those links in the email from PayPal.
Do you know what? I just struggled. I do use it. I don't like it. I
tell you what, it's hugely complex to use. If you're trying to find to do something, you want to cancel a subscription or something, it's really hard. And like I said in a survey once, how do you find ease of use of PayPal? So can you pay for something? But if you go in the website and actually do something, to find it, the menus are not easy. And I thought, how have they plowed this much money into this platform and it's not easy to use? It's so hard to use, to navigate your way around what you want to find. It's ridiculous.
My account a lot of the time would be a good place to start. So not a fan of PayPal. I can see why it's been out innovated.
What it has is a first mover advantage, isn't it? I mean, it's one of the things that it was one of the first things to do that, and then of course, like anything, it grabs a huge market share, and people start using it because it's the only thing out there.
Yeah,
and then but of course, it's probably being chipped away at by competitors now, are probably better. John is going to say, for transparency, John does own a few of these. I do like these results today. ADF, explain what they do. Facilities by ADF.
Basically, it's production, location production support for the film industry. So the trailers that the stars lounge about in, some makeup trucks, all that sort of stuff. But it's been expanding quite rapidly in the UK, which reflects kind of the rapid expansion of both the content production industry and huge investments in film facilities going on in the UK. Studios popping up everywhere. It's a big industry for this country.
These are trailers. Look at the trailers you can get. These are trailers for stars and stuff. And do you know what's interesting? I was looking at this. I mean, group revenue up, which is like 73%. And one of I quite like that. Just on a rule of thumb, sometimes if you look at something that's just one-time sales, and they've got good margins, that's a good buy as long as you do a bit more research. But I mean, generally, they're in 21 million for half year. They're going to do over 40 million, hopefully, for the full year.
Well, 35 they've guided to.
Okay, because of strikes and all that.
Well, it's going to soften up the second half, you would expect, because it's managed to keep things ticking over this half, I guess, with stuff that was pre-scheduled. So, I think 46 productions, The Crown, for example. Very British productions, but you can see things softening up in the second half of the year. There are some signs there are some tentative signs that the Hollywood strike, which is rippling through the industry, negotiations are about to perhaps yield some results, but no, none of the forecasts out there on ADF account for anything other than the strike continuing throughout the course of the year. Acquisitions have driven a fair chunk of that top line growth, and it plans to acquire more, but it's put a lot of that on hold quite sensibly. Given what's going on.
Yeah, I find this quite interesting. They do the breakdown of who's working with the spenders, and you see all the guys here: Amazon, Apple TV, BBC is one of the biggest, but Netflix by far biggest. But it's gone and also increased by 20%. Other productions there, so Netflix on its own beats all other productions. So but Apple TV spending quite a bit. In fact, they've got Apple TV there, so really well connected and working with the biggest companies out there, which is quite encouraging.
Yeah, incredibly well connected. Bear in mind it's not a low margin business, but it is very much dependent on physical stuff.
So
it's always going to be slightly lower margin, which is going to reduce the rating. But the shares, I think, are about 6.5 times 24 earnings. Looking past the full effects of the strike, it's pretty cheap.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see that kind of competition because they realize now that you do need quality productions, and so you have to invest in these productions to really get the eyeballs, the awards, and all that stuff, and it drives more people to your platform. So I think that is the sort of the bump in the road is its strike.
It won't go away. I mean, this trend was not, it's not disappearing anytime soon, even though there's been this hiatus. And what you can safely say is that there is a lot of pent up demand. It's going to bounce back with a vengeance. And ADF has it's put itself in a good spot to capitalize on that when it comes.
Majestic Corporation weathers commodities turmoil H1. What a Majestic? I'm not that familiar with them.
They're an urban miner. It's an expression I think you'll start hearing a lot more often in the future. Basically, a metals recycler. We talked about it the other day. So they take it's non-ferrous metals largely and recycle them. And it's a huge industry, and it's only going to grow. And particularly as we've got looming deficits in certain materials. Problems getting new mine permits and all that sort of stuff. So actually taking what already exists and turning it back into usable metals, which is exactly what Majestic does, is a good business. I mean, and it struggled with the sort of metals markets this year. They've been tricky. Given what's been going on in China, but again, the long-term trend is demand trends are up.
They're making a profit though.
Yeah,
Small
exactly.
market cap. They're on Aquis, aren't they? So,
they are. Yeah, they are. Yeah. And I like this. In the sense, I think it's a really well run company. Probably a little bit below the radar. It's sort of expanding its facilities, expanding the way it sort of gets the raw material that the metals to be recycled in. So yeah, a lot going for it, and as you say, it makes profit. Never to be scoffed at. Yeah,
urban mining, isn't that the old horse and cart? yeah, bring out it's like Rag and Bone Men. Fredo 300
yes
says,
it is. That is exactly what it is.
yeah Rag and Bone
exactly
Men,
what it is.
So Fredo 300 says, interesting. And then he says, ticker symbol MOZ, mobile streams is a good investment for the next 10-20 years at very, very low cost. 10-20 years. Wow, that's long-term investing. Let's look at the chart of mobile streams, by the way. I know what to do, but to do NFTs and that stuff, isn't there? But I think that literally it has come down quite a bit. And I mean, it seems to be signing stuff, but it's worth seeing.
It's very wise. I mean, NFTs, obviously, there was a big fallout after you had this sort of Bitcoin sell-off, and we've heard of NFTs sort of going to pretty much zero, things that people have paid stupid amounts of money for. And I do think mobile streams got something slightly more interesting, which is NFTs, which they're like the Panini football stickers of old. They're sort of tradable digital assets, because obviously you don't want to carry around a pocket full of football stickers anymore. Yeah. So it's slightly different, and they're picking up licenses in markets where people are mad about sports, but where those licenses are much cheaper, and in its case Mexico.
Yeah.
So there's something here, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, looking at just most followed ECR, Orcadian Energy, RA International, S4, Martin Sorrell. So Martin Sorrell's vehicle is taking a bit of a hammering because it's been advertising. But do you know what's very interesting? Well, there's a couple bits of news out here. This is in this Orcadian Energy said there's a non-binding head of term with a North Sea operator for a potential farm out of their pilot development. It's not signed yet, but they're getting £200,000 up front, apparently, if they need that. They said cash at today's date is 90 grand they've got, so they could do this happening. But they do say this is a big asset. The pilot field has 2P reserves of 78.8 billion barrels there. What's kind of interesting, news-wise, right? This RA International, I did check the market cap, right? I thought, are you aware of this company?
I feel like we've talked about it. No, I've completely forgotten what it.
Yeah, the site service power provider, Africa, Middle East, all that special meeting needs of oil and gas, mining, all that sort of services.
Site service power. So you mean sort of like Crestchick, Greco type thing?
Yeah, but look at this. They're 22 million market cap, right? And they do a lot of contracts with the big organisations. But this contract, minimum 2-year global framework agreement with FCDO. Who's that? Who's the that's a foreigner?
Foreign Commonwealth.
UK's Foreign Commonwealth Development Office, right? They say. The services which RA is more likely to provide will be funded from a sublot allocated to CF Invalid in aggregate of 375 million over 2 years. I don't know how much of that they're getting, but they're only 20 million market cap. So that's why it's sort of shot up today on that news. But so maybe worth looking at that. And so they have taken a massive hit of late in the last few years. But it has given a bit of a boost. But I mean, I don't know what's the final results. Let's have a look at the final results second. They've got revenue. They must have debt because they've got 62 million in revenue and only 22 million market cap. Let's have a look at this. They say about debt here. Oh, loan notes, liquidity. So it's worth looking at that. But I mean,
yeah, definitely. I haven't looked at it before.
Hang on. They do say net debt there. I'll tell you what 6.5 million net debt at their last. So it's not a huge amount.
That's actually down from. That's actually when was that? A half years?
No, that was. This is on 25th May. This is full year. This was. So it's gone up from 1.5 to 6.5. So they've taken on a bit of debt, but nevertheless, I mean, it's interesting to see. I haven't really read that email, RNS by the way, but I don't know how much of that they're getting. So does it say? I don't know.
No, who knows? It doesn't say. It's not clear. I mean, it would be unlikely they're getting 375 million. But given the size of the business as it stands, but it's a very, very interesting looking partner. I mean, it depends how many years that's over as well.
Yeah. Okay, so that's RSI, one of the winners today. Losers, by the way, Wildcat. It's not good. They've sort of pulled out of Sudan. Who could have predicted that? And they say unable to at present time to sign a production sharing agreement in Sudan because, of course, there's
but it doesn't really surprise me. No. I mean that is working in a proper danger zone.
But Martin Sorrell, of course, he came from WPP, didn't he? One of the biggest advertising companies in the world, and he was regarded as the king of advertising, wasn't he? Pretty much. And now he's got his own model, his own business come out, and it came out with a lot of hype, didn't it? And see there, look at that. It went from, I think it was somewhere around here. They said this is where it reversed into something, but then it went from like 136 up to 850, and look at that drop off there, 850 down to now 69 pence, which is below IPO level. On their results. So I did sort of read it. Did you read anything on this? I mean, it didn't seem, is someone selling here? The Capital Group. No, they bought some Capital Group up to 5%. So, but the interim results didn't look as bad. I mean, maybe a lot of figures have got numbers next to them denoting there's adjustments everywhere. So it's hard to read it. But it didn't look as bad as I thought.
Big loss for the period.
Yeah.
Still.
I just operating profit. Well, exactly. But I think it's one, this is the kind of company I think will obviously, when the advertising market returns a bit, there's a bit more buoyancy, maybe one to look out for because he's not a stupid man, is he? He knows his stuff. And I assume he doesn't want to end his career on a dud.
You would really think he doesn't want to end his career on a dud, but it's just that the advertising market is so tough at the moment. Yeah, it's so tough. We had some numbers from MC Saatchi last week, which were also fairly lackluster. Yeah. So yeah, but at that price, as you say, it's
look at the loss there. It's come down from 82 million. I mean, the loss is getting smaller, from 82 million to this 20 million. So but I just think at the moment it's a horrible downtrend. There's gap down again, and so you sit back and wait a little bit for an uptrend start. But that's not looking very. I mean,
investors don't like to see adjustments. They don't like to see adjustments on acquisitive companies either.
No.
So
no, I don't see adjustments either. What's going on with Buddy? The bid and ask is very what is Buddy?
No idea.
What's driving that? Yeah, what is that? Is that a ticker? AI investor says Buddy. What is Buddy? Let us know what Buddy is. Oh, Buddy it is, not Buddy. It is Buddy, I suppose. That's what it is.
Coming up in my system. No idea what that is.
No, me. I have no idea what that is.
We'll have to do some detective work and find out what it is.
Anything else news-wise? There's not a lot there. I mean, anything else you've covered, John?
Not that we've covered. We've picked off everything there. There's lots of news out that we haven't got round to looking at. Microlease looks interesting, which is sort of fleet management stuff. A couple of big contracts out in the US. Australia rather. What else have we got? I mean, it's
SAS is a ticker there.
Busy morning. Yeah, worth a look. Zenova that we've talked about a lot. Another delivery there. BSF Enterprise got big grant there. Yeah, big grant.
How much did they get then?
612,000 euros.
Was it? I thought it was like 12,000. I think. BSF.
No, you missed the 6 off the beginning.
Look. Receives. 612. Yes. Wow. Look at that. I looked at that this morning and I didn't see that 6. I thought it was like I thought it was euro.
It's not very well presented that
it's not, is it? I think someone missed that. There was 12
euro side on it.
The share price has gone down on that.
Yeah, strange.
Why is that?
Because it's probably just because it's really run up quite a lot, hasn't it? I mean, it's
bouncing around
anyway.
Look at that. So the support levels are on right here anyway. But okay, BSF, price. All right. Cool. Well, business stories, we covered that. This top bit. How can I think we're seeing a bit of a turn in the market. Of course, August is always bad, but September jumped up a little bit. But I do like the idea now that lenders are saying we're close to the top. and they're starting to go into a bit of a mortgage rate war, which will help boost a lot of industry, not just house building, of course, but there's a lot of offshoots to that, isn't it? That it's you stimulate the housing market a little bit, and lots of side support industries also get the boost.
Yeah. So we talked about the legal industry the other day, but state agency.
Yeah. Look at this, right?
Obviously.
Look at this, right? Rental prices rise at the fastest rate for 9 years. And this is largely down to, of course, buy-to-let landlords raising the rent because their mortgages are going up. Now, I don't understand, but, if you keep raising interest rates, it's going to push up rents. Now, that's part of core inflation. And the Bank of England always look at core inflation. So do they understand that? So if you want to bring inflation down, you can't keep putting up interest rates. It's going to affect core inflation because the rents will go up. So maybe something to look at. And
the other thing about rent is, there's been a lot of policy in the past, decade to try and drive people into home ownership and make it more difficult to be a buy-to-let landlord. So that's whether that's regulation or higher taxation on second properties. So they've done a lot to make it hard to be a landlord, and obviously that's resulted in there being less rental stock on the market, which then pushes up house prices, rental prices. So all these levers and unintended consequences, some of which are fairly predictable. But it's a mess.
Finally, Labour's trying to go for it here, saying they will seek to rewrite the deal in Brexit. He said he will seek a much better Brexit deal with the EU if Labour wins next general election. And I'm thinking, it's easier said that, isn't it? It's really, you are taking like a 27 block of countries all trying to agree to the UK getting a better deal. And they're thinking, why should we give the UK a better deal? They're not in the EU. It's like just saying that and actually doing it is two completely different things, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know what to believe.
Everybody wants a better deal.
Exactly. I don't know what to believe of Brexit anymore. It's so much political sort of posturings about it, isn't there? There's nothing in the middle just saying, okay, let's look at it objectively, because you've got Brexiteers and then anti-Brexiteers, and they're all putting their own spin in it. I don't know whether we're net it's bad for us or good for us. I have no idea. Have you? What to believe anymore? I don't know.
No idea. I think there are a lot of problems that we have domestically that may or may not have something to do with Brexit, but they certainly seem to me to have a lot to do with many years of very, very poor government, and many years in which the divide, as I've said before, between capital and Labour, rich and poor, has just got wider and wider, and here we are. So I think we need a radical shake-up of politics, and a slightly better Brexit deal is really not going to do a great deal.
No, it's not. I've seen finally, in fact, Liz Truss says she urges the PM to cut taxes a year after her exit. I think, Liz, come on, love, you've had your chance. Okay, it didn't bode well. But I did see, I think Simon French, economist there, saying there was some good bits in what she was doing, but trouble is, it was at the wrong time, and it wasn't really thought out that well. And I suppose that's the thing with everything, isn't it? There's some good bits and bad bits.
Well, they always say don't try and do everything at the same time, because you don't know what's working and what's not working. And in her case, it was just nothing appeared to work. But as you said, there were some good bits in it. Incremental approaches are good.
Yeah. Okay. Marvelous stuff. Thank you everyone for watching today. And it's a Monday. It's Fields Autumnal, and we're back tomorrow. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. And if you like the content we're providing here, then share it with all your friends and all your family. Thank you very much. Speak tomorrow. Bye bye.